Hello everyone, welcome to my channel DG Learning. I am Ranjita and I am going to give you the notes of paper 6 unit 3. पेपर 6 यूनिट 1 और यूनिट 2 के नोट्स मैं आपको ऑलरेडी दे चुकी हूँ. जो मेरे चैनल पे नए हैं वो जा करके वीडियोस देख सकते हैं और वो सारे नोट्स लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो आज हम स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं सेमेस्टर 4 पेपर 6 जेंडर स्कूल एंड सोसाइटी. उसका जो यूनिट 3 है दैट इज addressing gender issues, intervention and strategies. Okay, so let us start. The National Policy on Education NPE 1986 has been hailed as a path-breaking document as it emphasized the reorientation of the national education system to play a positive interventionist role in the empowerment of women and the development of new values through redesigned curricular, textbook, training, and orientation of teachers, decision makers, and administrators. Coming as it did in the wake of the women's movement, the vision of the NPE echoed the demand that education be used as an agent of basic change in the status of women. Textbooks were revised at various levels following the NPE's recommendations. The NCERT also brought a series of teachers' handbooks to address gender equality in classrooms through curricular transactions. Provision of educational opportunities to women has been an important program in the education sector since independence. Between 1951 and 1981, the percentage of literacy amongst women improved from 7.93% to 24.82%. However, in absolute numbers, illiterate women have increased during this period from 158.7 million to 241.7 million, excluding Assam. Women comprises 57% of the illiterate population and 70% of the non-enrolled children of school stage are girls. In spite of the effort made so far, the education system has not been able to make sufficient contribution towards women's equality. Targets a phased time-bound programs of elementary education for girls, particularly up to the primary stage by 1950 and up to the elementary stage by 1995. A phased time-bound programs of adult education for women in the age group 15 to 35, whose number estimated to be 68 crores by 1995. It will be 1990. It's 9090. It's not 50. Okay, 90. Okay, whose number are estimated to be 68 crores by 1995. Increased women's access to vocational, technical professionals education and to existing and emergent technologies. Review and reorganization of the educational activities to ensure that it makes a substantial contribution towards women's equality and creation of appropriate salary or units. Therefore, the main features of the targets and implementation strategy will consist of the following to gear the entire education system to plan a positive interventionist role in the empowerment of women. To promote women's studies as a part of various courses and encouragement to educational institutions to take up active programs to further women's development. To widen the access of women in programs of vocational, technical, and professional education to create dynamic managerial structure to cope with the targets invest. Next topic is programs of action empowerment of women. Women become empowered through collective reflection and decision making. The parameters of empowerment are building a positive self-image and self-confidence, developing ability to think critically, building up group cohesion and fostering decision-making and action, ensuring equal participation in the process of bringing about social change, encouraging group action in order to bring about change in the society, and providing the wherewithal for economic independence. Now comes to the following measures will be taken for the achievement of the above parameters. Every educational institution should by 1995 take up active programs of women's development built around a study and awareness of the women's predicament and for promotion of communication and organization amongst women. B. Women teachers and women instructors in adult non-formal education programmers should receive social orientation to enable them to play an activist role towards women's equality. Special programs should be developed. See, this is the C point, okay? Special programs should be developed by research institutions, voluntary institutions, and professional groups of artists to promote general awareness and self-image amongst women through a variety programs like discussions, street plays, skits, wallpapers, puppet shows, etc. Preference and recruitment of teachers up to school level should be for women. This will create a greater confidence in the rural areas and motivate the parents to send girls to school. Okay, next topic is NCF 2005. Gender concerns need to be addressed in terms of making the perspectives of women integral to the discussion of any historical event and contemporary concerns. This requires an epistemistic shift from the patriarchal preconceptions that inform much of the social studies at present. The deep gender bias and pervasive patriarchal values in Indian society are responsible for the failure to recognize the need for the creatures and daycare facilities, especially for children of poor rural and urban working women. This neglect has also had an adverse impact on the education of girls. Schooling reinforced the gendered inequality of socialization across all whites. It is evident that the schooling of girls remain embedded in the societal context, even though it provides an expanded space for the growth of two women. In fact, school curriculum and schooling become active instruments of cultural reproduction and social control without seeking to alter the informal and the formal process of socialization. Values, norms, social practices, customs, and rituals that are connection between gender socialization and formal process of education at school need to be understood implications for girls as students. Once girls are given access to schools, the assumption is that as girls and women have entered the public sphere, empowerment will follow implicitly. Their options will expand and they will be in a position to take greater control of their lives. Expand. Okay, ये repeat हो गया, so just cut this line, it has been repeated. Gender bias pervades all aspects of our life. In the sphere of teaching, it is generally perceived that women are more proficient because they are kind and usually affectionate. Hence, students connect with them better. Such stereotypical notions cannot be eradicated from society immediately, but can be gradually weakened. The education system made substantial progress in terms of gender sensitive classrooms in 2005 when the National Council of Educational Research and Training, that is NCERT, made an attempt to rectify the chronic depiction of stereotypical gender roles in school textbooks. Till then, women were mostly portrayed in traditional roles such as housewives, mothers, and as personifications of the kind and loving or cruel and evil. The National Curriculum Framework 2005 prioritized gender sensitive education as a means to achieve quality education. CBSE, acting under NCERT's directives, has designed a kit on gender sensitivity. It includes a handbook, cards, and a manual for teachers to equip them with required skills to practice gender sensitivity learning. With such positive reforms, we have started the journey towards a gender sensitive culture, and we hope to see considerable transformation in the classroom. Gender diversity should be encouraged in schools so that young children not only become accustomed to interacting and working with members of the opposite sex in an unbiased environment, but they also acquire a degree of comfort and familiarity in dealing with one another and eventually realize that gender ceases to matter at all. The NCF 2005 was also produced under the aegis of NCRT by a national steering committee chaired by Professor Yes Pal and 21 national focus groups. This includes the National Focus Group on which gender issues in education. The position paper by this committee made 22 recommendations, out of which the three major recommendations were: first, spending more on education to improve access of girls to education. Second, improving teaching in government schools to ensure retention of schools and school and quality of education. And the third point is integrating inputs from women's studies research to ensure that the material used in textbook and syllabus is informed with a critical approach to gender. NCF 2005 was followed by the framing of the National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education, 2009 NCFTE, by the National Council of Teacher Education, that is NCTE. With the enactment of the RTE Act and framing of the NCF 2005, NCFT 2009 acknowledged the developing vision for quality education and the integral role of grading teacher training and education for changing demands. Gender studies have also been introduced as a course for B.ed and D.ed programs by the NCTE. This is largely the policy regime in India to address gender issues at the school level. The current policy regime highlights two limitations. First is not empowering students with critical thinking towards gender as a phenomenon, and second, not addressing the issues of inclusion of different gender and intersex identities. So this was our NCF 2005, and now we are going to start the last topic of this unit, that is RTE 2009. RTE 2009. The Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act came into force from April 1, 2010. The RT Act has 37 sections, 7 chapters, and 1 schedule which clearly lay down the aims and goals of the Act. Education also leads to girl child empowerment. It helps build their self confidence, self esteem. It transforms them from a docile person to an educated person who can handle the challenges of life and question inequalities. Gender parity has been the overarching concern of the system on the whole. Through education, gender and social disadvantages can be resolved and equity can be achieved. Girls experience multiple forms of disadvantages. Curriculum, textbook, and pedagogic practices need to capture the entire web of social and economic relations that determine an individual's location in the society, in the social reality, and shape their lived experiences. There should be teachers. Sensitization programs to promote equitable learning opportunities. Interventions like gender training remain largely sporadic and need to be accelerated. Gender inclusive textbooks should be designed. It is high time to understand the structural and social barriers to girls' education and bring out systematic change. Scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, Muslim girls are vulnerable, leading to measures include just a minute, okay, leading to leading to them being out of school children, that is OOSC, out of school children, and dropouts. It is time to address the challenge. Measures include transport, escorts, counseling, helping them negotiate domestic work burdens, community support mechanisms. If the society wants to flourish, then it will have to invest in a girl child education. There are educational disparities across the developing countries. When we uh, educate a girl, we empower her to have a say over the choices she has. Once educated, they can speak up for themselves, their rights, argue if wronged, and demand justice. This would lead to making of a just society. The last topic of this, sorry, that was not the last topic. The last topic of this unit is SWP, means State Women's Policy 2014. Initiatives for women. Many departments work for the empowerment of girls and women. Mission to enable environment for girls and women that promotes equal opportunities, eliminates discrimination, ensures holistic development and empowerment, and enhances capacities. Focused areas: survival, health and nutrition, education, livelihood, asset ownership, decision making, participation and political representation, safety, security and protection, girls and women with special needs. Is that clear? So here we have completed this unit also, that is unit 3, and with this unit ये हमारा जो है ये सब्जेक्ट दैट इज जेंडर स्कूल एंड सोसाइटी पेपर 6 ये हमारा यहाँ पे कंप्लीट होता है. ठीक है. आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड और आपको नोट्स हेल्पफुल हो. आप आराम से यहाँ से देख के नोट्स बना सकते हो. आपके लिए नोट्स हेल्पफुल हो. इफ दिस नोट्स विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू देन प्लीज़ लाइक दिस वीडियो एंड सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल. जो मेरे चैनल पे न्यू है वो सब्सक्राइब करे. फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर के नोट्स पूरे के पूरे सारे ईच एंड एवरी नोट्स आर देयर इन दिस चैनल. यू कैन गेट इट फ्रॉम दिस चैनल. पूरे फुल नोट्स एक एक यूनिट करके मैंने फुल नोट्स बनाए हैं. वो नोट्स आप देख करके लिख सकते हो. क्लियर. एंड आई होप दिस यूनिट विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू. ये सारे नोट्स आपके लिए हेल्पफुल हो. अब हम लोग नेक्स्ट हमारा आई थिंक सो पेपर 8B दैट इज नॉलेज एंड करिकुलम बी. तो हम लोग वो स्टार्ट करेंगे. ठीक है. ओके. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग.